I'm going to make a delicious frittata with lots of pumpkin and potato. And to give it a little bit of je ne sais quoi, I'm going to add some cheese. So goat's cheese and Parmesan cheese. So first up, we need to roast our vegetables. And I'm going to start with an onion. We want to roughly chop this onion. So cut it into 8 big chunks because I want to roast these vegetables off first. So into a 22 centimetre pan, I'm going to add some oil. Now, when it comes to making a really good frittata, it's all about the pan. You want the pan to be quite deep, just like this one. 22 centimetres is perfect for 4 people and non-stick, so we can get the frittata out at the end. It's also really nice to have a pan that's oven safe. So in with our veggies first. And I'm going to start them on the stove top and then finish them off in the oven. Some pumpkin, I've got some Jap pumpkin here, and I'm going to cut it into roughly the same size as our onions. I just like to start it off in the pan just to get some colour. And I think the skin on this pumpkin just gives it a lovely flavour. This is also a recipe I do when I've got leftover roast veg from a roast chook or any roast for that matter. So in they go. Now, it looks like the pan's a bit overcrowded, but as I cook this in the oven, the vegetables will cook down. And I like to do this in the oven as opposed to the stove top because we're going to get a beautiful, even heat on the vegetables. They're going to cook on the top and on the bottom, and that'll mean that they're going to caramelise nicely because I think this tastes extra special if the vegetables are caramelised quite a lot. Okay. If you are using your leftover roast veg, you do just want to heat them up slightly. So we need to add some salt to this, a good pinch of salt, some pepper, freshly cracked pepper. Give that a bit of a toss and just make sure they're quite even. I'll also add some sage, and I just like to pick the leaves in there, and they're going to go crispy as it cooks too. Okay, again, give it a shake. And so this goes into the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes or until the vegetables are tender and caramelised. And what I like to do halfway through is just give the pan another little jiggle to ensure that it cooks evenly. While the veggies are roasting, let's get onto the eggs. So for that 22 centimetre size pan, you'll need about 10 to 12 eggs. So we'll just crack them straight into a bowl. And I always like to add a little bit of cream to my frittata mix because it just gives the texture that velvetiness. Okay, I'll keep cracking these eggs and I'll mix it with some salt and of course the cream. Okay, veggies are cooked, they're sizzling, and you can see it's cooked down quite nicely. Just give it one last toss. And you can see why I did add lots of vegetables, because I do want this frittata not just to be egg and then a small amount of vegetables. I want to be generous with our veggies. Okay, in with our creamy egg mixture, and just go quite slowly with this because you just want it to get into all the nooks and crannies, and you want to fill that up. Just leaving about a 2 centimetre border because it will rise. Okay, and now I just want to bring in the sides. You can see because that pan was so hot from the oven, it has started to set. So I'm just trying to bring that in just so we've got some of those curds in the centre there, okay? Then spread out the veggies again so it's quite even. Okay, for the cheese, some goat's cheese. I'm just using a mild goat's cheese for this. So about 2 centimetre bits of the goat's cheese. Some Parmesan cheese, sprinkle that around, and just because I always have them in my fridge, some semi-sun-dried tomatoes. I just like that pop of sweetness, and we'll just poke them in and around the eggs. Now this goes back into the oven. The oven's set at 175 degrees and it's going to cook for about 10 to 15 minutes or until the eggs have just set. Have a look at this. It is so gorgeous in the pan. You can see it's almost souffled up and it's golden on the outside, and I kind of like that the tomatoes are slightly charred on the top. You know what, because it looks so impressive in the pan, I'm gonna leave it in the pan, take it to the table as is, some fresh rocket over the top, just for that pop of colour, sprinkle it over. And because this is slightly rich because of the cream and the cheese that we've added, I always find it's nice just to do a small drizzle of red wine vinegar. Just cuts through it and also dresses the rocket leaves slightly. And remember, when you take the frittata to the table, ensure you've got a tea towel on the handle. It is piping hot and you don't want anyone to burn themselves.